How do you benefit from AI? Get them to know you, even on platforms like Reddit. So you add another vertical and you think you're going to rank right away. Why? In today's world, you need to market to 3 entities.
Welcome to Cracking the Code, where we make HVAC success clear, simple, and stress-free. I'm your host and Contractor University General Manager, David Holt. In today's episode, we're honored to speak with Mr. Jack Nagy, President and founder of MTA 360. Jack will be leading a great, epic 2026 workshop titled The Evolving Search Landscape, from Yellow Pages, which is exactly where I was back in the 90s, to AI-driven discovery. His session is on Friday, February 13th, hosted at the Bellagio in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. So let's get cracking. Welcome to Cracking the Code, Jack. We're really looking forward to your session at Epic 2026. Can you give our viewers a few points that you plan to cover during your breakout session?
Oh, thanks, David. Appreciate the opportunity being here. I'm going to cover a number of topics, but the one that today everyone, it's kind of the buzzword AI or buzz letters, however you want to put it. And I could assure you one thing, what I would say and present today will be different in February, because that is how quickly it's evolving. And it's not just the evolution of it, but what do you do with that evolution? How do you use it to your benefit?
So we've really got 3 things we want to try to hit today. So AI is clearly a driver in all 3 of these things. So let's first focus on, let's talk about the lead generation via Google and different platforms like Facebook and Yelp and so forth. How's that being impacted today?
Well, it's almost impossible to cover a topic without somehow the words AI coming out of your mouth, but I'll do my best there initially. So lead generation, obviously, is the lifeblood. And I've said for decades, it's about generate a lead, close the sale. That's what it's all about. So today, the key in lead generation is understanding that you're now marketing to 3 entities. You're marketing to Google. And years ago, that's all you had to do. Some keyword research, you were good to go. Number 2 would be, now we got to market to the homeowner, because Google also looks at what's your content, how fresh is it, what are you doing with it, and does it satisfy the person doing the search? Because anyone on Google, Google says they're their customer, not yours, not mine, it's theirs. So they want to satisfy so that customer comes back. Okay, and then number 3, now you have to market to the chat. Or the AI, I should say, AI search agents. So now I have to satisfy 3 people. Now, before I get further, let me back up a little bit. There is still somewhat of we'll call it an overfocus on keywords. Now, I'm not downplaying the importance of keywords. It's the first step. You do your keyword research, and AI can help you with that research. The AI is a great assistant. And the analogy I think you've heard me say is, it's not the installer, it's not the lead installer, it's the helper to make that installer more efficient and move more quickly and such. Okay, so that's what AI, that's the way we're looking at it. Okay, so the first step is, yes, keyword research, and AI can make that much easier today. Number 2 is traffic. And it's not just in general traffic. It's where is each segment of traffic coming from. And by the way, you can identify AI traffic. And a lot still don't, but why not if it's that important? Okay, so traffic. And number 3 is going to be, did my phone ring today? Because that's how we're judged. All our technology, all our R&D, I could go on and on about it. But frankly, dealer doesn't care. Homeowner doesn't care about how an inverter works. They don't care how the generator comes on with a transfer switch. They just care, hey, we lost power. I want my generator to come on. So that's really what it is. Keywords, traffic, leads, close the sale. Okay, we actually can help with our training and closing the sale, but that's a different conversation. So I'll leave it at that. But expanding your lead gen and understanding how you do that on various platforms. And you could say, well, Yelp's been around a long time. We even can look at Yelp and do an evaluation and see if there's an opportunity there. But in general, expanding the platforms that you can get leads from.
And so, back in the good old days when we did do Yellow Pages and direct mail and all that kind of stuff, which Yellow Pages, not so much, direct mail still has a place, but in this new technology, certainly AI has a significant effect on search engine optimization, sometimes called SEO, your whole lead generation process, the entire sales funnel. So what are your current thoughts and approaches on dealing with the AI effect?
AI, again, we look at it as a very smart assistant to a degree. We don't see, at least today, could change tomorrow, but right now we don't see, and others, I think professionals, well respected, do not see, oh, you don't need SEO, AI could do your SEO for you. We don't see that. So it's no different than the service tech going out and troubleshooting a system and taking superheat readings. They could have sophisticated instruments. An auto tech can have a scanner that can be a very sophisticated scanner, but it still comes down to the auto tech doing the repair and such. Okay. So what we see with AI, and just so you know that GPT chat is about 50% of the usage out there. Okay. So just people always ask like, what's most prominent? And what we see with AI is it could help you or maybe not. Maybe not meaning we see that if you don't understand it and you don't understand how their AI agents understand verbiage, understand content. Content's so valuable. It's always been valuable, but now you're writing content that has to be appealing to Google, the consumer, and AI. Okay? So it can shorten the funnel. It can get you in front of people who are like, yeah, let me check it out, whatever, versus I need someone now. And getting away, expanding from just keywords, a few keywords, used to be AC repair near me, don't get me wrong, is still very valuable, but now more into dialogue. Like more so like, hey, David, could you recommend a good AC contractor? And, you see this and you see AI pulling from platforms like Reddit. Why do they like to pull from Reddit as an example? Because Reddit's conversation. It speaks to or it understands how people are speaking about something. We have a lot of clients do really well from an AI perspective, and a lot of it comes from Reddit. And it's just still not a platform that most dealers think about, most contractors or businesses don't think about. How do I get my customers to talk about me in a very positive way? And again, going back to going to traffic, it's important to understand where the traffic's coming from. Is it good traffic? Is it not? There's so much involved, in dissecting and understanding how AI is working. But I could tell you this: one thing that's interesting, you could take AI today can give the same answer to 10 different people asking the same question. Okay. So for example, everyone asks the same question. AI has their bank of knowledge and they give everyone the same question. So if I'm using it to develop content, and we do, don't get me wrong, why not? If we use it to develop content and we say, please write me a paragraph or a page about AC repair in Tampa, and 9 other people ask the same question, it's going to be very similar content. So use it as the assistant, use it as the tool, but not as the tip of the spear. But you better stay on top of it, because I can tell you, anyone working with an agency that doesn't have a good handle on AI, and it's similar to like with Google. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, Google has all these updates. They're no secret. It's easy to understand what Google's updates are. But the question really comes down to is, now what do you do? Right? It's not hard to understand. My AC system doesn't operate. Now the question is, why doesn't it operate? How do I make the repair? You still need that experienced service technician that's going to come out and make the repair using whatever tools is required to do the job. And that's the way, but I can tell you that what we want is we're looking at platforms. Yeah, we look at TikTok, we look at Nextdoor, we look at platforms that realistically we might not have put a lot of focus on before. And everything, is valuable and going beyond. So I guess the way to put it is AI says you better go beyond Google. Don't lose sight of it. Still, like, oh yeah, that's top. It's top of the list. But do not lose sight and make sure don't block accidentally. We see this. Don't block the crawlers from AI agents. They have to see it. If you produce it and content, whether it's 5 pages a month or 10 pages or whatever you're producing, and our new websites, typically 50 to 100 pages right out of the box. Why are we doing it? Because it's a different world. That's why we're doing it. So, that's where we are. And I will go in depth about AI and answer any questions anyone has. But like I said, what I would share today in a full presentation, it'll change. It'll probably change, next week. It's that it really evolves. So thank you.
It's a very fluid world that we live in right now with this technology. And it occurs to me that, we're sitting here having this conversation about AI, and there may be people on this call that don't even know really what AI even stands for. So artificial intelligence is what it stands for. But as you were talking, I'm thinking about it's assisting individuals, right? It's assisting innovation. I thought about this too. It's assisting idiots like me, right? It's interesting when you look at it as an assistant, kind of like you talked about earlier. If I've got an installer, if I got a lead installer, the assistant for the lead installer is an important resource for the installation, but we still require our own personal intelligence to be able to affect the change that we're trying to make on that install. And it's kind of the same thing with the whole AI thing. It's people are all worried about it's going to replace me. It's going to replace me. It's going to replace me. Now it's going to assist individuals with the job that they need to do. And I think that's a key point. And don't be afraid of it. You have to engage with it and you have to understand it. And I know that people that are going to be attending your session are going to really look forward to it. So let's hit one more question here real quick. What about
before you move forward? Yeah, I was going to say one more thing. I apologize. Okay. The key is, how does it make you more productive? Okay. We built our own SEO software, and people say, oh, you did it because it saves time. Yes. But why do you want to save time? You want to save time so the person can spend more time on other things to make things better for the client. So, one of the things that AI does look at, they look at schema. A lot of dealers never even heard of that. What does that mean? I'm not going to get into it right now. A lot of dealers have never heard things like domain authority. They haven't heard about backlinks. They don't fully know what it is. Just like saying to a homeowner, well, let me share with you the superheat, the subcoolant, delta across the indoor coil, the algorithms of the inverter, or variable capacity, as I prefer to call it. And the homeowner's like, what? Can I control it off my phone? And is it going to save me money? So I'm sorry, but like I said, it's about productivity, and that's what AI can make you, is more productive so you can work on other things.
So we got one more point we want to talk about, and that's what about businesses that have multiple locations? I mean, is that a different world that we have to deal with there?
It totally is. And one of the things with Google that's consistent in a lot of areas is how they roll it out. Meaning, let's say there's an end goal where 100% of what they're going to do gets rolled out. But they don't necessarily say, turn it on like a light switch. Google guaranteed, or local service ads, whatever you want to refer to it as, started like that. It started as that of a pilot in San Francisco. And now it's everywhere in the country. Has it evolved? Of course. In a lot of ways that may not be great for the business, but always, of course, produces more revenue for Google. Like, no surprise. Okay. So what we started seeing and hearing, which is nothing like having 20 plus years of experience and getting feedback from your customers. And if you become a student of your customers or clients' needs, you become smarter and you understand because they tell you, all right? They don't hold back, they tell you. So what we started hearing, and this started well over a year ago, we started having clients that had multiple locations, physical locations, okay? And we don't recommend, and we don't do fictitious virtual addresses, because it's just a matter of time before Google figures that out and then they suspend you. A whole nother conversation, but not good. So we'll take a dealer who has multiple locations. And what we started hearing is, in this location in Chicago, just picking an example, boy, we see a lot of traffic, a lot of leads, we're really happy. But, we have a second location in Elgin, and we're not getting a lot of leads from that. See, and we see that, between Google Analytics and Google Search Console, we see that. So we understand what the dealer's saying. We dissect traffic. They're right. And we started seeing that more and more and more. And now it's pretty consistent. So Google, and they're really smart. So they can look at multiple locations. You could have 2, 3, 4. I don't care how many you have. But we see them basically identifying where did you, what's your main location? Where did you start? Because a lot of businesses start with one location and add on a second, third, etc. Where did you start? Because that's where I'm good with you there. But the other location or locations, yeah, I see you. Yeah, you're there. You get a little. So the example or analogy I use is, okay, I have 2 separate businesses, and we'll stay with Chicago and Elgin. Okay, so 2 individual businesses, Jack's AC, Dave's AC. Okay? And at the end of the month, all said being equal, SEO set up correctly, backlinking and everything done the same. We look at the 2 businesses and let's say at the leads collectively and see what the total number was. Okay, X number of leads. Good. Then we say, okay, now we have 1 business. Goes back to has a location in Chicago, has a location in Elgin. Everything being equal. We add up all the leads at the end of the month. And we compare it to the 2 individual businesses. They don't compare. The 2 individual businesses generated more leads because Google says, okay, you're a standalone, single location. That's your market, surrounding towns and such. And we're okay with it. So what do? And, we started seeing this as far back as 5 years ago, but nothing like today. Today it's pretty prevalent. And also the other thing is, which sort of connects a similar scenario, is like I'm the HVAC guy. I own it. I can get 500 leads in a month from SEO. I'm the king of, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, I'm going to get into plumbing. Why not? Good idea, right? You have a customer base. And then the expectation is, well, you're going to add on plumbing. So, I in a short period of time, reasonable period of time, the plumbing terms should rank as good as the HVAC. And not as easy as it sounds, because Google says, no, you're the HVAC company. I've known you for HVAC forever. And now you're saying you're in plumbing. Yeah, I don't think so. So back to the locations. So what do? How do you get Google to look at each location as its own standalone location? And how do you do it from a very cost-effective standpoint? Because that, budget plays a role, okay? And the efficiencies we've picked up with AI and technology and other things have allowed us to significantly reduce our pricing and give more, which is an unusual combination. Can you imagine an HVAC manufacturer coming out with a new inverter and lowering the price? I'm not sure I ever have seen that, but maybe it's out there. So with that being said, we created what we call an enterprise or mothership concept. And then, so we have this website that we're building all the power and authority to. And then we have localized websites for each location under the wing of the mothership. But to Google and the homeowner, it's important. Well, so when the homeowner is, in Elgin, they see the Elgin version. They see an Elgin website. Google sees the Elgin website and only that site. So, and we're able to do this whether you have 2 locations or literally it's endless. Endless. We can keep building on localized sites all under the wing of the mothership. Now, we may want to increase the horsepower of the mothership to support 20 locations or 40 locations or whatever it be. But the point is, it's very cost effective and it works. And the results, which I'm happy to share, we're all about the results. The results have exceeded our expectations. Absolutely unbelievable results. When Google now sees you as an individual standalone company versus one website who's trying to scoop up multiple locations. It just doesn't work as well as it used to, which is a lot of things. I always say understanding that Google made an update is relatively easy. Now, what do you do with that? All right, so that's what, and I'm proud of our R&D department. And, frankly, it hasn't gotten any easier. What was it like to troubleshoot a 12-SEER unit? A contactor, a compressor, a run cap, maybe a start cap? Pretty darn simple. Now, take the panel off of an inverter for the first time you've ever seen one. Yeah, maybe a little taken back by like, what in the world is all this stuff?
Yeah, I always say I'm a 1967 Firebird mechanic in a 2025 world, that when I open the lid of my Lexus, I just close it right back and say, I got to take this somewhere else, because I understand the concepts, but I don't have the tools.
Right, exactly. You don't have the tools.
It's really come a long way.
Yep.
And so this little primer, if you will, that we just went through, this little taste is just the beginning of the powerful information that I guarantee you, my friend Jack is going to help you as an attendee that attend his Epic 2026 breakout session. It's absolutely going to be fantastic. And as Jack's already mentioned, the evolving landscape of search in general is going to be different even tomorrow than it is today. And so I really appreciate you and your team staying on top of this, Jack. So thanks for your support as we continue to work together to help contracting community be better tomorrow than they are today. For more about Jack's breakout session, visit the epic2026.com website and check out the agenda for Friday at 11 a.m. And if you haven't already registered for the conference, make sure you do so right now, because it will surely sell out as it has in the past. Click register now at epic2026.com so you don't get left out. Thanks for watching Cracking the Code, where we make HVAC success clear, simple, and stress-free. See you next time.